Welcome to Something Came from Baltimore. I am your host, Tom Gowker, and tonight we start the All Baltimore series. In the next couple months, we are going to chat with Bmore musicians and check out their live music. Subscribe and get ready to listen to Bmore artists like Mike Kuhl, Warren Wolfe, Rufus Roundtree, Todd Marcus, and a lot of other local jazz legends. But tonight, we are turning to the Baltimore dance halls and the DJs that help shape that Bmore club music sound. And if you've been checking out Netflix, you may have seen a new performance documentary called Dark City Beneath the Beat. It was released on April 16th, and it is a quick documentary. It's directed and edited by TT the Artist. She is a rapper and a visual artist. I'm going to call her a multimedia artist. She's one to watch out for. You have to check out her website, blackpopart.com. It's amazing. TT the Artist found her creative and professional voice in the city of Baltimore, and the Dark City Beneath the Beat is a loving tribute and a wake up to the world to be a part of that Bmore music scene. All the music that you hear in this interview can be found in the documentary and also on the soundtrack. If you want to check out YouTube, we have a full interview of our conversation, so that is important that you may check that out. I hope you be inspired and enjoy the interview, and then subscribe to Something Came from Baltimore. We want you to be a part of that Bmore music scene. And now, TT the Artist.
Stay black, 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 stay black.
TT the Artist, welcome to Something Came from Baltimore.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited to have you. You know, you understand Baltimore inside and out. You actually just made a documentary about it. So, and I thought, wow, like I forget how great Baltimore is and how the artists are fantastic. And your documentary kind of went in that direction. Before I even get into the doc, I wanted to talk about Black Pop Art. You have some fantastic pictures right behind you. And it's weird because I've seen these maybe on Facebook, or maybe people were passing them around. I didn't know they were connected to you until I went onto your website. And I was like, wow, this is such a great idea.
You know, I've been developing this since, like, I would say probably 2014. I realized that there was a real gap there, like around the time when pop art was popular. It wasn't really like the art that you saw wasn't a reflection necessarily of like Black essence. I mean, the Black experience.
Oh yeah, there's a big gap.
Yeah, but I've always been attracted to the idea of pop art, you know, the Warhol, the Keith Harings, and I just always been attracted to that. Even like Jeff Koons is one of my favorite artists, and I love taking things that are from our community and elevating it into this format. So it's really been something I've just been developing organically, and so you know, it's a collection I'm building out, and eventually I want to have like a whole, you know, art exhibit that showcases this body of work, and it will be like a crossover experience where it's like installation, set pieces, music, you know, film, like all these different elements. And so, yeah, that's just something I've been developing, and I'm just starting to kind of get more into the merchandising and e-commerce world. So, you know, it's just like an expansion of the work that I've been doing.
Yeah, they're fantastic. You know, I was listening to Questlove, and they had Belma Moore on, and she said, well, when it came to Black culture, you had Essence, and that was it. There was no one wanted to learn about culture. And there's
and Jet magazine.
Jet, yeah, that's it. and it's a vacuum. And I had the idea that we should really go back and interview the jazz elders, because there's a history just completely not documented, and will go away if we don't hurry up and speak to people.
That's why I've been developing, just even when you say history, you know, I've been developing Black herstory too, or herstory in general, just like creating moments through, you know, my art and media that celebrate women's contributions to, you know, the creative world, the entertainment world. So these are all things that like I found myself being a part of, because I feel like even as an artist, there's so many things that I feel like I've been influential, especially on a local level. But it always seems to tilt further towards, you know, men getting more of the support and notoriety and recognition. You don't really talk about, you know, the contributions that, you know, women are making and to pioneer and push different genres forward. And I feel like myself, along with many of my peers who are women, we are all having this conversation behind the scenes. And so we're starting to kind of come together and put out content through our own platforms so that people really can see, you know, we are a part of the source as well.
Woke up in the morning feeling divine, with a smile on my face, no worries on my mind. Calling me a bitch won't take my pride. Might as well ride this wave around. Everyday black girl, got a lot to prove. So I hustle track now. Gotta bust a move, but I'm cool.
When did you live in Baltimore? What was your time frame?
I would say from 2002 to 2018, and then 2 years after I graduated college, from 2006 to 2008, I was living in New York. And so, but I was still going back and forth and making art in Baltimore. And that's when I really started pursuing my music career professionally. I would say around 2008 is when I kind of started stepping out there and really like, all right, I'm gonna record music. But I've been rapping since high school. You know, I've always been a child of hip hop. So, you know, I had to learn the original way, which was writing bars and verses and jumping in ciphers and freestyling. So like, that's really where my roots came from. But when I came up north from Florida, that's when I got exposed to more genres of dance music, like house music, you know what I mean? Funk. I just got to like see more of that. And that was because I've been between Baltimore and then going to DC and then going to New York. And so it was just like a melting pot of culture that I felt I never saw when I was growing up in Florida. Like Florida has its own culture. But when I came and traveled, I just started to, you know, hear more sounds. And then I found my voice through those different sounds.
I parallel you because I left in 2019, but it wasn't because I wanted to. It's that I couldn't keep a job that would pay money. So
that part.
I mean, the thing about Baltimore, it offered so many things to me and so little at the same time. I was able to have my own radio show. I worked for the Orioles. I was in a play. I was doing improv. Anything that I wanted to do, I could do. But when it came to, you know, to live, you know, it was a struggle just like with everyone else. And sometimes you have to say, well, I got to put food on the table. And if I was able to make it there, I would. But I do see there's an invisible like glass ceiling there that only if you live in Baltimore that you can see. We see the sunshine. We just can't get out. We can't get out of it. So it's in the interim, it's still a beautiful place. It's still really good people there, and you had that documented in this.
Okay, it started on the 2900 block of Denham. Was just in high school with a book bag, trying not to hook class. Always kept my head on the swivel, I had to look fast. Tried to keep my head and my mental, that was my crook mask. Everything we did was official and never look back. I've been reminiscing on brick like we it. If you with it, then I'm with it. We can finish what we started in kindergarten, never departed in my mind at least. I know the times are gone, but reminisce is fine with me. I love you like a kid, like McDonald's. So here I swallow all the pride that I have inside of my body, just to let you know I'm riding. I got a problem with the way things are and what they used to be. But I just sit back and sip my tea. Y'all gonna remember me. It's Lord Corey from the CHP, DHC, all my years BAD. Scholarship from the colleges when I seen 18. That's been called.
Yeah. Yep. And that's it's a fact, but it also comes down to, like, you know, if you are, there's industries, you know, like if you are in the medical field, Baltimore is the place to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where the medical field is thriving, you know, with number one, like hospitals like Johns Hopkins, you know. But when you're an artist, because we don't have the industry infrastructure there, we have so much culture, but as far as the business side of things, we don't even have like press in Baltimore, aside from local press, right? You go to New York, you know, New York is a city of advertising, it's the art world, it's the fashion world. You go to LA, it's production, it's music, film, television. You go to Atlanta, it's music, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping with the film, Dark City Beneath the Beat, it will at least shed that light on the city so that the artists who are still there and working and have families can at least be open to a larger conversation, and people can know you can go there and book them. They can travel, come back home. You know what I mean? So it really was, the goal is really to bring back some resources to that community.
The conversations that I have with these artists that I'm interviewing right now is off the record, is the struggle of being an artist. People don't realize how time consuming and how involved emotionally you're into your product. And even if you make a mediocre piece of product, it still takes a lot of time, you know? So these guys are on the top of their field in the jazz world, but they're barely making a living. And their whole idea is like, do I continue? You know, where do I go? How do I survive? And is it even worth it? And that's one of those conversations that we have that I never put on any of my podcasts.
Hey, Baltimore. 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 Hey.
Let's get into some questions and then I'll let you go. Okay.
Okay.
For people not realize that Baltimore is called Charm City. So you have Dark City Beneath the Beat. First time I watched this video, I was so focused on like, okay, where are you at and who are you with? You know, like what street are you on here? And I was like, I need to know what's going on. And the second time got my attention is how the urban decay of Baltimore became a beautiful backdrop. You know, like a set designer would kill to make that kind of background to show authenticity. And this is normal streets. It's not like you went in back alleys anywhere. This is Baltimore, you know. And then the third time I was like, okay, well, the message that I finally got is what you had said already, is that we have so much great talent and culture that your job is to really like just shine that light. Like I used to go to Paradox Club Buns, and I used to go to
Club Buns. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh yeah.
The Deep Sugar parties with Alternate and
yes, Alternate, yes.
I used to before I even moved to Baltimore, I would go to Soundgarden and get Rob Lee mixes. He was like from the 2000s, and I just thought it was great.
Get up, get up, get up. In the club, turned up. What you know about it? I'm a bad bitch, like what? What you know about it? Drink all in my cup. What you know about it? Your man crush on my. What you know about it? In the club, get pumped. What you know about it? I'm a bad bitch, like what? What you know about it? I'ma shake my stuff. What you know about it? Tell the dick flow up. What you know about it?
I also feel that Major Lazer stole a lot of Baltimore sound. I can't prove it, but I listened to Baltimore sound. I went, oh, he just put like a little reggae accent, but it's Baltimore. He took Baltimore.
Absolutely. I mean, Diplo, he was a fan of the music. He's a fan of the music. I know he re-released some of Black Star's classics off his label Mad Decent. So that was also a catalyst for me wanting to do the film, because I felt like I was hearing the sound on so many mainstream levels, like by mainstream artists. And I was just thinking to myself, like, what if the artists who are actually from the city making these authentic sounds got that same type of recognition? You know what I mean? It just felt like a lot of people were borrowing the sound and they were able to capitalize off of it. But the people from the city weren't really getting the opportunities, you know what I mean, from that. So that was a really, really big part of my message and mission early on, like when I first really started to go out there and film.
I mean, you were struggling to get it out there last year, and bang, it's on Netflix. So that must have been an internal struggle on your part.
It was a lot of patience, and that's what I try to tell a lot of artists now, because I went through it. There's so many moments where you feel like everybody's overlooking you. You're still the underdog. You just want an opportunity and a chance for people to take you serious, or just to give you an opportunity to like do your thing. And it's like, I had to be patient, because, when you start getting to a level where you're working with different people and you're getting partnerships, like you can't go on social media and just going on rants because you're emotional. Like you have to have a good support system at home or through your friends or through your network who constantly encourage you to just see the bigger picture. So what people don't know is I was waiting for like a year. Like Netflix had approved and said they wanted to put the film out, but I was waiting for like a year on an actual date. So it still felt like, is this going to happen? Like, is this going to happen? And even before that, we were pitching the film for like a half a year, you know what I'm saying, to other networks. And we were getting a lot of no's at first. And I feel like it was because COVID had just started. So theaters were closing and a lot of the bigger films were probably soaking up those streaming site budgets. But George Floyd happened. And I feel literally after the George Floyd incident, there was a surge of interest in more Black cinema. Yeah. So I feel like my film became a part of that wave, and people started taking a second look and looking deeper into it. Because even in Baltimore, like, and you hit the nail on the head with the backdrops. I literally said, we're not going to go and rent a bunch of studios and do this. What we're going to do is we're going to use the city as a backdrop, and we're going to create art. So the film is actually an exploration of performance art. Like a lot of the sets or the pieces that we did were happening in real time. So even the Lafayette Market scene with the police officer, like that was happening in real time. So the people around there were interacting. Like they were like, what's going on? They thought it was real at first until the police officer started.
I was down Lexington Market looking for some tree. Security guards started looking at me. I tried to keep it cool, I tried to keep it straight. Then all of a sudden started dancing in the place. I was dancing for no reason, dancing for no reason. Started dancing for no reason, dancing for no reason. I was rocking for no reason, rocking for no reason. Started rocking for no reason, rocking for no reason. I was down Cross Street Market, trying to find some tree. Little white lady started looking at me. I tried to keep it cool, I tried to keep it straight. Then all of a sudden started rocking in the place. I was rocking for no reason, rocking for no reason. Got the rocking for no reason, rocking for no reason. I was dancing for no reason, dancing for no reason. Got the dancing for no reason, dancing for no reason.
So it's like a bit of performance art. And I knew like going into this reinvention of the idea of a documentary, I was like, I want to create something entertaining, because I think that's what we need. We need something that shows the world, this art shows the world, the creative culture in Baltimore in a more polished way. And maybe in doing that, people understand like, Baltimore is just not all rugged and ragged. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was like the whole inspiration behind that, the approach to it, the creative approach.
The Paradox doors, it cracked me up because, that's been shut for a while. You couldn't go inside. I would love that they would allow you just to open the doors, and then you could have had your camera zoom into that yellow background where they were dancing. Like, it just was sad that, I haven't looked at those doors, and it's just sad to look at that and say, wow, I spent a lot of time in there and had fun. And now it's just a relic just sitting there.
Okay, I see. Okay, do your dance, do your thing. I see you. Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Let me see you rock off.
And but also that scene was about that, right? So if you went to the Paradox, you remember a lot of times there was like these long lines, but you could hear the pulse of the music coming from out the door, right? So we kind of had that music moment where it's like that underlaying of that bass we would hear. Like when I go to Paradox every third Saturdays, it'd be like this long, ridiculous line. And you would wait in that line. You don't care if it's cold because you're going to have such a good time when you get in. You're going to see your friends. Y'all going to get lit. And so I love the idea of it being these closed doors and then going into more of a decade piece and just kind of having fun playing around with that and like, commemorating shows like Soul Train. Because I feel like when I went to the Paradox, that's what it gave me. It gave me Black art. It gave me Black dance. Like it was just like such a cultural experience. And, early on when I had started filming, I actually was in the Paradox. Like I have a few edits from back in the day that we're going to be using like as extended content to just drop on our social medias and stuff. But what happened was my hard drives blew out back in 2011. I lost all my footage. And I had some amazing stuff. Like I even interviewed Wayne, who owned the Paradox, in his office. So, a lot of people had commentary about who was featured in the film and who wasn't. But a lot of that just came down to just, some people not showing up, some people not really taking it serious or not even wanting to be involved. And then now it is on Netflix. It seems like more people were like, oh, this is the real thing. So a lot of people are like, you should do a part 2. And so I said, if I do a part 2, I think it would be more about, the expansion of the club culture. So we still can kind of go back and touch on some of the like origins and create scenes around that, but also touch on Jersey club music and how that's evolving as well. So, it's talk. It's a lot of talk around that, because I think what happened is people felt so inspired by seeing it. Or some people felt like I missed some things, which I really didn't miss things. Like these are all, people got to understand, like you're working with over 200 something hours of footage, edited down like an hour or so, right? So it's like, I fully understand the culture and history of Baltimore club music. I've been a part of it, but I came in around the end of the Rye, Black Star, K-Swift post that time, because they had a whole moment, And so, but while they were having a moment, myself and Mighty Mark were also on the come up, but we were more like, new wave. And a lot of people just wasn't really paying attention to what was going on. But we were literally like taking it and transforming it, not just for the music's sake, but we were actually creating careers for people. Mm-hmm. We were putting people in position. We were doing music videos and hiring dancers. Taking them on tour, and we were also getting them to teach workshops. So now a lot of the dancers featured in the film, one of our main characters, TSU Terry, he now works, I think it's a school, Peabody, I believe, teaching Baltimore Club, and that came through us cultivating and teaching him and getting him opportunities. And so like, it's great to see a lot of the talent is starting to get better opportunities. Like our main DP, he signed with an agency now, a really professional agency. You know what I mean? So that's what I think is the way we change how this thing works locally. You know, we need to put people in position so that then they can start making money for their families and, you know, pushing themselves to higher levels.
The one thing I saw on Netflix, you know, they trail like a picture of a gay artist, and they changed it as of today. And now they have
they have multiple pictures.
Oh, okay, it rotates. Because I was talking to people, and I was like, okay, you need to look at this. It's Baltimore. In my mind, there is a touchdown on gay culture in this documentary, but it's really about Baltimore, you know, and
exactly.
Yes. But I felt, okay, well, they're packaging it to a gay crowd, or, you know, if you like this, then you're going to like this. And I had people who wouldn't touch it. I said, don't worry about it. Like with the guy on the cover, I said, this is Baltimore. You said, you got to open it up. And if they rotate it out, that's cool, because I was like, oh, they just changed it today. I didn't know that they do that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have we had to submit assets. So we sent a lot of stills from the movie to them, so it's been alternating. Even the trailer that they play alternates.
The gay culture and balls in Baltimore, they're big too. Like you could go deeper into just the ball culture in Baltimore because it's big. But you know, where do you go? I mean, what do you know? The world is your oyster at this point, because you put out such a great product that, you know, whatever is your next vision is the correct vision. You know, it's great that people put input, but whatever's in your head is the best thing.
I mean, I definitely, at first I was just like, I'm so tired. Like, you guys understand how much this took to even be thinking about a part 2. And then I was like, which is funny, I could just call it Dark City Beneath the Beat Part 2 with TEW. That would be funny. So I was just like, y'all coming at me real hard. Like, but now that I think about it, I'm like, there could be multiple versions of this years to come, because the scene is going to continue to evolve. You know what I mean? So I think that, like, I'm not opposed to a part 2 and just going even bigger with the production. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'll have more muscle to that. So, it's totally up for discussion right now.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because everyone's a critic at the point, but they didn't see your blood, sweat, and tears to get it. And and also, like, you're a gift to the Baltimore Tourist Society. like if you made Baltimore beautiful, and, you know, The Wire is stuck in people's heads forever. One thing I wanted to talk about is the cemetery scene, the dance scene. People don't realize that the cemeteries in Baltimore, the landscaping, the way they drape around the city and where they're located are almost the beautifulest properties in Baltimore. And I thought it was great that you picked that as a spot. And it's also, you know, it's subliminal to what you guys are talking about. You know, it's representing the pain and suffering and the violence too, you know, that you're dancing in the cemetery.
I know you can be more than what you are. Be more today for tomorrow. Be more. Be more. I know you can be more than what you are. Be more today for tomorrow. Be more. Be more.
I thought, and that idea just came out of nowhere. And again, it's like also showing upcoming talent in Baltimore, like that young girl her name is Sage. And I think she was 16 at the time when we filmed that, but she's like studying ballet, and she just, she got accepted actually. And when she graduated, she got accepted to NYU. So, these are our success stories, because now she has a piece of, of this film that she could use in her portfolio. Definitely. And so I tell everybody who's involved with this has a piece of this. This is not just my film. This is everybody's film who's involved, that they can use and run with it. And now you have published work on one of the biggest platforms. And so that's why I say it's a historical moment. It's a herstory moment. And, I only see things going up from here. I know that I'm developing new projects, and, I'm super excited about my next thing.
Your shoes. This is the last question. I love your shoes. Now, are they?
Which one?
The ones
painted ones.
The painted ones. I've been addicted to 3 Feet High and Rising. Right, the album cover. For some reason, if you're trying to buy the T-shirt, the shoes, they're so expensive, and I've been always waiting for like a off-brand, like an off-brand kind of TJ Maxx. And they have speakers of 3 Feet High and Rising. So when I saw that, that Public Enemy vibe to it, and I was like, yes, I want these. But how are they as being mass produced?
So I basically have it on my website where people can order customization. So essentially, you would ship the shoes to me. I would do the design and then ship it back.
Oh my God! Okay, so what's your going price on that?
It's $200.
Totally worth it.
Customizations.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's something that, and that's the thing. That's something that I'm moving more in merchandising as well. So I'm developing my own clothing line and things like that under my brand TT's Art World. And so you're going to get more of that. And the whole, all my pieces is really inspired by affirmations and feel good stuff, imagery. It's kind of primitive and childlike too, in the way I express myself in some of these pieces. But, I can get intricate with it too. But I just wanted to have something that really was my hand in my mark making. And so I am working towards starting to get more like cut and sew and actual ready-made items on my site. But for now, I've just had like customizations up there, from the clothing, jackets, jeans, because a lot of people don't know, in 2018, or actually was it 2019, I was designing 90% of tour clothing for the DJ Steve Aoki. So I was customizing all his pieces that he was wearing at his festival shows and all that. So I made like over 60 pieces for him, customized pieces throughout that year. And so that was a really interesting partnership. So that let me know, though, that my stuff was of value, because then they were reselling it for thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, maybe I need to start pushing my own stuff out there more.
Definitely. The primitive and childlike is in some ways like a positive. It nurtures the soul. It's only positive experience. I mean, I think if you get intricate, you force people to think a little too much. You just want that initial reaction is like, wow, I like this. So, and that's good. I think you have it. I was very excited about this. I'm so glad to finally speak with you today.
Nice. I'm glad we made it happen.
You know, it's very possible I was in the same club that you were dancing around, you know, through the years.
Sure.
Yeah. I also,
if you talk about club buns and stuff, yeah, I came to a couple balls there. That was lit.
Yeah.
I performed at all the clubs, Bar, Five Seasons, Eden's Lounge, all of them. I really came up from that era, like where you had to really prove yourself and had a mixtape and have CDs and all that stuff. Like before Five Seasons changed into a hookah lounge, like I seen it all. Even when they had that big club, they called it the Velvet Rope. Then they called it Palmas, then the Velvet Rope.
Palmas,
so yeah, I was I was like actually there. We were always there because at one point I was actually hosting a TV show on the CW network called Keeping It Real TV. So we would go out, me and my manager at the time, we would go out with the camera and be all in the nightlife, you know, which is just a crazy world. That's why like I feel like I had such connections with different sides of Baltimore. Because like I had connections with like the, you know, alternative scene and, you know, the hip hop scene. Like it's just like I was just everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like I do get a lot of support. The people that might have hate, I really don't know where it comes from, except for them hating themselves. That's it. That's all I can say, because what people have to realize is you're a reflection of yourself. So if you're projecting messages of hate, if you're speaking bad on anybody, there's something out of alignment within yourself. So you can't help but project that. So I don't really let that get to me, you know, because I know there's a bigger purpose for me here. For me to come to Baltimore and not know anybody, like 0 people in 2002, and then now have such great relationships with many people where it's become like my family. I just think that's what matters to me at the end of the day. Yeah.
It's that thing that if you put yourself out there in Baltimore, you can do anything. I was trying to get Divine statues for Micah to dress like an outside statue for Divine and have
that's dope.
Yeah, have Micah like have them go paint it, dress it, you know, and have it right on the bridge, right there on you can do whatever you want. It's just that there is, and it's great, but there is a time, I guess, that if you want to go forward, you got to open the door and walk out. You can't stay there, unfortunately.
That part.
Yeah. I'm so impressed with you. I love your music. I didn't know that these pictures behind you were yours. I think you're wonderful, and I really am. I'm glad that you're.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much. I just, you know, I'm trying to talk to as many people as I can, because I understand the importance of supporting on all grounds. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, a new podcast or you're independent. Like, I think it's so important to connect with as many people as possible, you know. And I'm still like, you know, we're marketing this film ourselves. Like, Netflix didn't give us a marketing budget because it's not considered a Netflix original. All the press, all the promotion is good, you know, because we want to keep the energy going, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
thank you.
Sure. TT the artist, thank you for joining me tonight on Something Came from Baltimore.
Peace.
Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the interview with multimedia artist called TT the Artist. The doc is on Netflix, and it's called Dark City Beneath the Beat. Please check that out, along with blackpopart.com, and also check out TT's music. It is banging. You don't have to wait for an episode of Something Came from Baltimore. It's a podcast. Subscribe and be a part of that Bmore music scene today.